Hello and welcome to the English virtual class. The topic for today is grammar, relative clauses, defining and non-defining ones. Let's see. Firstly, we use relative pronouns who, whose, which and that, and relative adverbs where, when, that, why to introduce relative clauses. We use relative clauses to identify, describe the person, place, thing in the main clause. Relative clause. Let's see an example. The man who organized the festival is the mayor. Relative pronouns. We use who, that to refer to people. The flight attendant who or that showed us to our seats was very kind. We use which or that to refer to objects or animals. For example, the costume which or that you're wearing is very funny. We use whose with people, animals and objects to show possession instead of a possessive adjective. For example, that's the lady whose son is a magician. Let's continue. Notes. Who, which and that can be omitted when they are the object of the relative clause, that is when there is a noun or a subject pronoun between the relative pronoun and the verb. For example, the man who Linda introduced is from Italy, or the man Linda introduced is from Italy. Who, which and that are not omitted when they are the subject of a relative clause. For example, the boy who came in dressed as a pirate is my brother. Whose is never omitted. She's the woman whose husband had an accident. Let's continue with the explanation. Relative adverbs. We use where to refer to places. That's the shop where you can buy decorations. We use why to give a reason. That's the reason why he was late. We use when to refer to a time. That was the year when she wrote her first poem. Note, you should remember this, when using where or when, we do not need a preposition. The village where he went on holiday was on an exotic island. Let's continue. Try to keep in mind relative clauses about the relative clauses. Relative clauses are non-essential parts of a sentence. They may add meaning, but if they are removed, the sentence will still function grammatically. There are two broad types of relative clauses in English. It is important to distinguish between them because it affects the choice of pronoun used to introduce the clauses. Defining clauses. A defining clause tells us which specific person or thing we are talking about in a larger group of people or things. If a defining relative clause is removed, the meaning of the sentence changes significantly. A defining relative clause is not separated from the rest of the sentence by commas or parentheses. Let's see some examples. The doctor who visited me in the hospital was very kind. The umbrella that I bought last week is already broken. The man who stole my backpack has been arrested. The weather that we had this summer was beautiful. Let's continue. Non-defining clauses. A non-defining or non-essential clause gives us more information about the person or thing we are talking about. If a non-defining relative clause is removed from a sentence, we lose some detail, but the overall meaning of the sentence remains the same. Non-defining relative clauses are always set off from the rest of the sentence with commas or parentheses. Now let's see some examples. The farmer whose name was Fred sold us 10 pounds of potatoes. Elephants, which are the largest land mammals, live in herds of 10 or more adults. The author, comma, who graduated from the same university I did, so comma, it is separated from commas, gave a wonderful presentation. My mother, comma, who is 46, lives in Paris. Let's continue. Now we are going to practice complete the sentences with who, which, whose, where, and when also. First one, my cousin Lisa is the sort of girl who loves dressing up. Number 2, Jim, you should complete it, loves telling stories, says he saw a ghost. The first one, we can say that it was defining. The second one, so Jim, who loves telling stories, says he saw a ghost. This is a non-defining one, of course. We separate it and we put it between commas. Number 3, the book you should complete it, his reading is about dragons. The book which, this one, is a defining one clause. That's the boy you should complete it, sister is a magician. Whose sister is a magician? This one is a defining clause. Let's continue. Number 5, this is the shop you should complete it, you can rent a costume. Where you can rent a costume, and this is a defining one. Number 6, August was the month you should complete it, we went to Spain. When we went to Spain. Number 7, my sister is studying at, firstly, let's see, this is a defining one also. Number 7, my sister is studying at Cambridge, you should complete it, is a famous university. Comma, which is a famous university? This one is a non-defining one, of course. Number 8, the costume you should complete it, you're wearing is great. The costume which you're wearing is great. This one is a defining clause. Let's see. Write complete sentences, use the relative pronoun or adverb in brackets. Let's practice together. Last March, I be in Spain attend the Las Fallas festival. Where? So, last March I was in Spain where I attended the Las Fallas festival. Number 2. Brian family come from the USA, have a party this Saturday evening. Whose? Brian, whose family come from USA, is having a party this Saturday evening. Number 3. The lantern Kate made be beautiful. Which? The lantern which Kate made is very beautiful. And let's continue with number 4. The festival takes place every August, attract many tourists, which? The festival, comma, which takes place every August, comma, attracts many visitors. Number 5, Peter, be the person, can help you decorate the house. Who? Peter is the person who can help you decorate the house. And lastly, number 6, summer be the time the festival takes place when? So summer is the time when the festival takes place. Was it difficult? Thank you very much for your attention.